So all religion is trying to gain something from God. A blessing, pleasure, reward. Judaism is the exact opposite. What happened at Mount Sinai, when God took us out of Egypt and brought us to Mount Sinai, he didn't tell us how to get to heaven. In fact, heaven isn't even mentioned in the Torah, except at the beginning. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth, and then the rest of the Torah is about earth. Heaven is not mentioned again. So we're not trying to get to heaven. In fact, we don't want to get to heaven because you got to die to get there. Not a good deal. What we want is to bring God down to earth. That's what happened at Mount Sinai. God came down to the mountain to tell us what he needs, not what we need. The reason we go to hell when we die is because we want to be with our friends. If you go to heaven, who are you going to talk to?
That's true. No one in my life is going to heaven.
You know, Christians are afraid of hell. Right. It's a Borough Park thing. Yeah. So first of all, what is Gehenna? What is it? Oh, what it is, you burn like a barbecue. You roast on a fire on the. What are we talking about here? On the neshama? Your neshama goes to hell and burns. How do you burn on the neshama?
Your neshama is fine.
That's right. How do you burn it? So what is it like to be in hell? There is really a serious, proper definition or description of hell. When you come home to your home, and you don't feel comfortable. That's hell. When you come to the place where you belong, and you don't feel like you belong, that is horrible. The burning in hell is not a fire with little demons with pitchforks. The burning in hell is the embarrassment that a soul feels when it doesn't know how to be a soul anymore. Some souls go back to the world of souls as if they never left. Completely comfortable being a soul. That's heaven. But when you're uncomfortable being a soul, because your soul is so used to being in a body, not being comfortable as a soul among souls, that's hell. How long does it take to readjust? Maximum 12 months. After 12 months, you're in heaven. We're being given such a bad impression about God. That's what I said before. We'd say God doesn't need anything, he doesn't take anything from you, you can't do anything for him, but when he gets angry, you're in trouble. You know, that's a monster, that's not God. This minister back in Minnesota, very nice guy, we met, we were introduced for the first time, and he says, "So, do you believe in Jesus?" And he wasn't being aggressive, or he was straight talking, wants to know what I believe. So I said, "Look, I don't know much about Christianity. But I'm not looking for a God who's going to help me. I'm looking for a God that I can do for, not have him do for me. And that's it. There was nothing he could say. He started to cry. And he says, I never thought of that. Are we here to get from God what we need, which he made us need? This doesn't make any sense at all. What is life all about? Fulfilling your needs. Did I ask for these needs? No. But you got to spend your whole life taking care of your needs. And if you don't, you go to hell? I mean, this is mind-boggling. No, God is the needy one, not us. This has two very important virtues. One is God becomes lovable, not distant and cold and invulnerable. And number two, what a relief. I'm not the needy one. That is such a burden off of our conscience. What's wrong with you? When are you going to be? How come you don't? Wait, you should. You better. No. I don't have to anything because I didn't create myself or the world. I'm here because he has a vast eternal need. And if I can do something for him, my existence is justified. Otherwise, I got no problems. So that's the future of psychology. Why are we attracted to the opposite? That, by the way, that is a big mystery in nature. It doesn't make sense. Men should be attracted to men and women should be attracted to women. That makes sense. Huh? What is this attraction to the opposite? What is that, like kind of a dafke? I don't want my own kind. I want dafke what is not the opposite. It's because it's not opposite. It's me. A complete human being is male and female. So a man's attraction to a woman is because he wants to be himself, not he wants something opposite to himself. A woman is attracted to a man because being a woman is not enough. A human being, like the first human being, has to be both. God forbid. God forbid that God should be punishing us for our sins. Because when you don't talk to your children for 3,000 years, they forget some of the things you tell them. We are familiar with God because God needs us more than we need him. And that's why commandments, 10 commandments, that translation has ruined everything. As soon as you say God has commandments, he's no longer friendly. He's not the one who's needy. Now you got to watch your step because you violated a commandment. That's not Jewish thinking. Jewish thinking is, when God spoke to us at Mount Sinai, he wasn't telling us what we must do, he's telling us what he must have. The kind of world he needs and the kind of world he envisioned when he created it. So God revealed himself. That's why it's called revelation at Mount Sinai. If we could get this into our thinking, into our educational system, we need God. If he created us, then who needs whom? How did we become the needy ones when he created us? So, well, don't we need to eat and sleep and drink? So, well, that's how he created us. There are developments where just simple natural instinct leads people to do what the Eibishter wants. That's a sign of Mashiach, not a sign of religiosity. So if everybody suddenly became religious, would that mean Mashiach is coming? No, that would mean we're really in trouble. Because when people become religious, it's not good for anybody. Modern times, the most convenient way to cover your hair is with a wig. If the wig happens to look better than your hair, bonus. If you're going gray and you don't want to be gray. So one of the things you'll notice is that there are no old women in this community. Men are all gray, but you won't find a single gray woman here because the wigs are gray. Now, the fact that the wig looks good is a benefit. We're not trying to not look good. Beauty is not something you hide. Beauty is meant to be in the eyes of the beholder. So you don't hide beauty, you hide what is private. Beauty is not private. You can't be beautiful in privacy. When nobody's looking, you're beautiful. No, if nobody sees you, beauty loses all of its meaning. So we're not trying to not be beautiful or attractive. We're just trying to distinguish between what is meant to be public and what is meant to be private. The misunderstanding between Chabad and religious people is because we're not religious. We don't think religious. We just think Jewish. Right? Why is homosexuality an abomination? Where is it? It's not. It's not. Homosexuality is an avera. That's what it is. It's an avera. It's an avera like eating on Yom Kippur. It's an avera like adultery. It's an avera like eating chametz on Pesach. That's what it is. Now, unless you believe that eating chametz on Pesach is an abomination, if eating chametz on Pesach is not an abomination, then neither is homosexuality.
So why is it made okay?
Made okay?
Not by us, but, you know, they say, oh, okay, they have emotional issues. Okay, let them be.
So here's how it happened.
Like, okay.
First, the very religious came along and said, it's not just a sin, it's an abomination. Then they figured out, you know what? It's not an abomination. Oh, okay, then do it. You see? If you try to embellish, you end up losing. You don't need to embellish. It's an avera. Why is it a worse avera than anything else? Who said? Who could say that it's a worse avera than anything else? Come on, stop it. An avera is an avera. You have your favorite avera, I have my favorite avera. So, calm down. There are 613 mitzvahs, which means there are 613 ways to misbehave. And we all do. You did that one, I did this one, together we violate all of them. That's why there's 14 million Jews in the world, to make sure that we cover every Avera. So just because you don't do that Avera doesn't mean nobody should. I mean, somebody's got to. First of all, eternal damnation, not possible. There's no purpose. Eternal damnation means you're not getting better. Forever. What's the point? To suffer forever? That's just a cruel, unacceptable. No. So that idea you gotta toss. There is no eternal damnation. Hell is a process that works. So if there's something to salvage from a person then hell will salvage it. Will burn off the negative and bring out the good. If there is no good, well, then you're not welcome in hell. You got to deserve to go to hell too, because there's got to be something worth salvaging. So Hitler, for example, is not in hell. If he was there, everybody else would leave. like there goes the neighborhood. Because what is there to salvage? So even going to hell is a blessing. It means there's hope. You get cleaned up, you're rehabilitated, and you're good. After putting us in Golos for 2,000 years, after giving us a Yetzer Hara, after creating sins, he is going to punish us if we do a sin. That sounds like a monster. That's indecent. That's like blaming the victim. Today, because of how long the Golos has gone on, there isn't a Jew in the world who deserves punishment, no matter what he does. Your mind will tell you that you are dependent on him. If he's God, he has the football. If he doesn't want to play, the game is over. So you're dependent on him. So you have to pray to him, you have to appease him, you have to fawn on him, compliment him, so that he'll be good to you. That's horrible. Unfortunately, Jewish exposure to that kind of thinking over the centuries, we absorb what the environment gives us. And it became part of Jewish thinking, which is very sad. Here's what Jewish thinking should be. We are not needy and dependent on God. God is the one who is needy, and he is dependent on us. That's faith.